I really want to start off my blog by sharing my green glass story and really the whole reason why I'm starting this blog. I had a really awesome experience when I was visiting my friend Rebecca at YWAM, this awesome place called Youth with a Mission, and I went to their university in Kona, Hawaii. I went out there just because I've been just so encouraged by what Rebecca has been doing. She's out there using performing arts to share the love of God, and I really feel like that's something that I want to do here. So I went out there with the intention of learning about what it is that they do with dance, and just so that I could take some of that back home to my ministry. While I was out there, God just totally had different intentions for me and just really showed me something else that I didn't think it was going to happen. I had the privilege of seeing them perform and watching them just do what they do and bless other people through dance and just show them who God is in a new way. After I saw them perform, I just had a new desire in my heart, which was to go to this school. I just was like, you know what, this is amazing and I need to be a part of it. I just prayed to God that night and I said, hey God, if this is something that you have for my life, then I'm nervous about it, but that would be really awesome, and I'll just wait for you to tell me if that's what you have. It was almost time for me to leave, and I went down to the beach. It was probably, I think like the day before I was supposed to go home. I was standing at the shore, and I was just talking to God, and I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to hear what your plans are for me. Do you want me to go to this school or not? Because if you do, I'm on board, even though I'm terrified. It's just a whole new thing for me. I haven't been gone from home for more than 5 weeks, and that was really hard for me. So thinking about being away for 6 months and packing up all my things was just a lot for me to sign up for. So I was just talking to him about it, and I was just looking down at the waves and looking down at my feet, and all of a sudden I saw this green piece of glass. It was just really pretty, and I liked it, so I held on to it, and I planned to take it home with me as a souvenir. And while I was talking to God, I carelessly dropped it back into the ocean, and I looked down, and I couldn't find it. I was just it was just immediately gone, and I was just standing there looking for it, and then a brown piece of glass popped up, and it was pretty small, and I didn't want to take it home. It was kind of whatever. Right there in that moment, I just had this random thought that a friend named Chelsea told me. She said that God has many paths for us, but there's one that's the best. So I just thought that was such a random thing to pop in my head, but when I thought about that, it made me think of the green glass and how I dropped it back in the ocean pretty carelessly, and it washed away. And God just reminded me, he said, I just felt him say that Heartbridge, which is this performing arts school at YWAM, is God's best for me. It wasn't a path that I have to choose, and that he would still be with me in whatever path that I take, but that YWAM was his best for me if I was willing. And so the next 20 minutes, I stood there at the shore, looking at the ground, looking into the waves, and I just said, God, if YWAM is your best for me, then bring that green glass back. And I felt pretty weird saying that. It just, it seemed like such a silly thing to ask for, and but I was serious about asking that question to God. I wanted him to show me what I was supposed to do. And I stood there, like I said, for 20 minutes and nothing was showing up. And it just, in that 20 minutes, I felt stupid for asking God to reveal himself to me in this way. I felt really uncomfortable by it, but I just held on to it, and I knew that God would answer me. And as each minute went by, my desire to go to YWAM just grew greater and greater. I also got nervous about it and scared about the idea of it, but my desire to go just grew stronger, and I just wanted him to bring that green glass back. And he does this. We all have these moments in our lives where we have these opportunities, and sometimes they're once in a lifetime, and we let them pass by, or we're not paying attention to it, or maybe we're not seeking it, or maybe we're just scared to listen. As I was looking down, it showed up. It showed up, and I grabbed it as fast as I could. And so here it is. And it was just this moment where I knew that God talks, that he actually reveals himself to people. And I know it seems silly, but it was something that mattered to me, and God knew that it mattered. And I went on a leap of faith and asked God to reveal himself to me, and he did in the way that I asked him to, too. So I am creating this blog to just share my story of what happens at YWAM and maybe what happens next. And I just want to use my story to just encourage people to also be vulnerable and to not be afraid to ask God and to talk to him, and because he'll show up and he'll talk to you and he will offer you opportunities. And when he does, I just hope that you grab them in the way that I grabbed this piece of glass. It's scary, and it can feel scary, but it's just so exciting because I know that God is going to do amazing things because I've said yes. So I hope that my blog encourages somebody, and if anything, just thanks for being curious about my life and wanting to just know about what's going on with me and what God is doing in my life. So thanks, and I look forward to talking to you guys in my next post.